Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance, a little wisdom to get you on your way. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and psychologist. And today we have a card. This deck just spoke to me as I was looking. The Wild Offering deck by Tosha Silver. One of these days I think there's probably going to be a chapter from Outrageous Openness that we read again. So welcome to whomever's here. Oh, Bonnie, glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. Wild Offering deck by Tosha Silver. One of my favorite cheeky authors. She just writes so cool. So, and here's our pink elephant, just for shits and giggles. I like the pink elephant, Ganesh. And our term for today is creative blocks. Creative blocks. And we're going to apply this to pretty much anything. You could be a gardener who's creating. You could be a writer who's creating. You could be a painter, a singer, a dancer, someone who likes to journal. You could be someone who's landscaping your yard. There's all kinds of ways that we exercise our creativity. Dressing ourselves in the morning, that's a creative endeavor, isn't it? Welcome to the other two of you who have popped on. I'm not sure who else is here, but glad to see you. So let's just close our eyes, a couple of nice deep breaths, and I want you to go within to your creative space, where your creativity lies. Like for me, I feel it in my solar plexus, my power center. And I feel it in my hands, because my hands are my instruments for creating. Good morning, Lisa. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. And just feel creativity, however it comes to you. Mine actually feels like kind of like shimmery light blue Play-Doh. No idea why, or that silly putty stuff that just kind of oozes. Good morning, Mara. We're just tuning into our creativity. Breathing it awake. Giving it some zhuzh. Because our card for today is creative blocks. So let's talk about that, because I think we can do a Lectio Divina thing with this that'll be really cool. So here's what it says. Creative blocks. If you are an artist of any kind, and we all are, you can offer all work to the divine, making it God's alone. Bonnie's landscaping today. 2,000 pounds of rock. Oh my goodness. That will be a creative endeavor. Good morning, Linda. Welcome, welcome. So perfect card for today. This creative energy. You can offer all work to the divine, making it God's alone. Okay, God, I'm doing this for the divine. I'm doing this for the universe. I'm being the instrument in your hands, kind of a deal. I offer this for the highest good to benefit the planet. Release me from any blocks and restrictions. May this serve all who need. So I just want to throw out some ideas here. The first idea is that whenever we hit a creative block of some kind or another, we're in our ego. By definition, if we're hitting a block, there's something going on with ego. It has to be a certain way. It has to turn out just perfect. What if nobody likes it? All that crap. Okay? So-and-so told me not to do this project. When we look at nature, nature just flows. Things bloom. They come up from around barriers. So you see a plant creeping out from underneath a rock. They could grow in the cracks of the concrete. Nature will have its way, right? We're part of nature, so we can have our way too. When we get out of our head, which is meant to be a tool, an instrument, and oftentimes ends up being a weapon we unwittingly turn against ourselves. So we need to release all that. And when we step into faith and trust, okay, this is going to unfold in divine right timing, divine right order, however it's meant to go. I'm waiting to receive my marching orders, my guidance, how I'm meant to do this. So for me, I've hit repeated creative blocks in writing a book. And it has to do with that ego thing of what if nobody likes it? What if nobody likes it? Really, when I'm writing for the release of writing, then all that stuff falls away. It does not matter. when I'm talking to people about what I believe in and what's important, it just flows. Sometimes then it's so interesting to watch when I sit down to write it down, the flow dries up. Again, there's that ego piece. There's that ego wound of someone's going to reject what I'm creating. So I've learned a ton about that from my son, who is a potter, and he gets all kinds of requests for doing commissioned stuff, making someone else's vision come true. And he said, I really don't like doing that because it messes with the flow of his own creativity. And as he says, he can't see into someone else's mind. They can describe it with words. Words are limited. And then he can attempt to connect and see what they're seeing and create it. But he'd much rather do his own stuff. Much rather do his own stuff. Again, this card is talking about this coming from a place of service. May this serve all who need. So we're not worried about people who don't get it. I mean, think about going to an art gallery and you're walking around, you're looking at stuff, and some of it chimes for you and you'll stand there and stare at it for a long time, and other stuff it's like meh, but that other stuff may chime for someone else. We're not all the same. So what each of us creates isn't going to speak to everybody. If we could just allow that, if we could be okay with, I put it out there. I remember at one point I'd sent a client to a Reiki therapist that I know, and she had signed a release, and so I called afterwards and asked, well, how did it go? And the Reiki therapist said, I don't know, I just ran the energy. Total detachment from outcome. Total detachment from outcome. That's a beautiful way to get creativity to flow also. I'm just going to mess around with these materials and see what emerges. I'm letting go of the outcome. Not, it has to look a certain way, yada, yada. I think about the sculptors who talk about just carving away that which isn't the sculpture. Interesting way to look at things, right? Interesting way to look at things. The other thing I want to do in a Lectio Divina kind of fashion is even look at those words, creative blocks. Think about little kids building blocks. What do we do with them? We put them together and we make something. So rather than viewing creative blocks as something that gets in our way, maybe we view it as those pieces we put together to make something. It's just a play on the words that can maybe free up your creative energy more. There are so many people who've had their creative energy squelched. When you've had the art teacher in the past of, here's exactly how we have to do this thing, that can mess with your creativity. I remember art class at one point, and I'd made this beautiful little pot. I just loved it. It was absolutely perfect in my eyes. And the art teacher came and flipped it on its side and made something big and tall out of it. And I was like, I don't like that. That's not mine. So I think I ended up throwing it when all was said and done, and he graded his project. I think I left school, and I think I threw it toward the grate in the road where the water runs off. It was like, this isn't mine. I don't want this. And my beautiful little pot had disappeared in the process. So there's also a bee on this card, which I think is really interesting. There's a little creator, right? Bees create a whole plethora of things. And we have that bee energy within us, that creative energy, the part of us that can kind of capture a vision, either see it or feel it or hear it, because all of us are different in terms of how the information sinks into us. There are people who are very visual. I happen to not be one of them. There are people who are more auditory. They hear what they're meant to create. And there are those of us who are more feeling oriented, so we just get a sense of knowing this is what's to be created. So today is going to be a day of creativity. Bonnie's going to be moving 20,000 pounds of rock around. Some of the rest of us are going to be doing other things. I have, let's see, what do I have that's going to be for creativity? Well, I have my coffee group first thing in half an hour. And that's a bunch of ladies who are just really willing to dive deep with me, and I love that. So sometimes we get this roll going that is absolutely amazing. So that could be a venue for creativity today. TJ and I are going to the vet today, brand new vet. So we're just going for the introductions, and he's got a bump I want him to look at. But send good juju around 2:15, between 2 and 2:30 Central Time, because TJ and the vet are not, he does well, but he's afraid, and that's not fun. So yeah, send us some good juju. But creative blocks, I'd love to have you put in the feed, just like Bonnie did, what she's going to be doing. She's going to be landscaping. What will you do today for creativity? Doodle. Doodle is fine. Take a piece of clay and just smoosh it around in your hands and see what comes out. Garden. There's all manner of things we can do that are creative in nature. But today's the day for creativity. So enjoy. Have a wonderful day. See you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are, including letting the creative energy flow. Bye-bye.